Hello, everybody. Welcome, nerds, to this week's installment of the Punch List, where we break down the nerdy news that you need to know. I am Abram, and as you can see, I have a stand-in for Clave, our normal Punch List aficionado. So this may be the shortest and quickest and mostly tame Punch List in Nerds on Earth history. So bear with me, hang around as I break down the top 7 news segments from the past week, as we do every Wednesday over at nerdsonearth.com. You can check out that article right away in the morning on Wednesdays, and then later in the afternoon we break it down, and you can get our hot takes or our lukewarm takes, or as Clave usually likes to say, our room temperature takes over that news. So it can be anything nerdy news. We're talking Marvel, we're talking Dungeons and Dragons, we're talking other tabletop games, board games, Star Wars, anything you can think of that fits in the realm of nerd, which is most things nowadays. We compile that list and hit it out to you. So without further ado, Clave, if I have your permission, I would like to go ahead and start the punch list. Number 7. So Dungeons & Dragons Wizards of the Coast is holding a Dungeons & Dragons Celebration Event September 18th through the 20th. So sort of going in line with all of the online conventions that we've seen this year so far. Wizards of the Coast is doing their own Dungeons & Dragons 5e sort of event online. So they're going to be celebrating the upcoming release of the Rime of the Frost Maiden Adventure, the Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, which we talked about. I think that might have been last week's punch list. I'd have to go back and roll the tape. But really, all of the proceeds earned through game registration sales are going to Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. So 2 really great causes. So if you want to find out more information, go ahead and go to the punch list. There's a link there to the actual news release. You can find it over at the Wizards of the Coast website, Dungeons & Dragons, and you can get all of the details there. There's going to be panels going on, games being run, all that stuff that you expect from a sort of convention experience, but this is hyper-focused specifically on Dungeons & Dragons. So that's a great piece of news. It's in a couple weeks here, so mark your calendars, maybe block off some time, see if you can't get involved in that Dungeons & Dragons Celebration Event coming later this month. Number 6 on the punch list is PulseCon, which I hadn't heard of before the punch list, but Hasbro is going ahead to host this PulseCon. So they basically said, guess what? Comic-Con at home isn't really our jam. We're not going to participate in that. Instead, they're doing their own online convention. So second convention news of this week's punch list. But basically what they want to do here is Hasbro wants to showcase all of their intellectual properties, right? So anything that they have for like Marvel Comics and Star Wars, Transformers, those big IPs, they're really hoping to cash in on the toy craze through this online PulseCon that it's called. So that is September 25th and 26th, so a week after Dungeons & Dragons Celebration Event, so you can go ahead and attend that, and then turn right around the next week and go to PulseCon online and find out all of that great stuff. It's going to be over on Hasbro's YouTube channel. And, I'm probably not going to participate. This would be totally something that Clave would be into right here. Seeing, I'm sure they'll probably have some G.I. Joe something or another to show. There's all those exclusive, really cool, like limited edition style figures that they're coming out with, the tall ones. So I'm sure there's lots of great stuff there. Again, as people and companies try to, react to everything that's gone on this year, PulseCon, this is just one more byproduct of that. As people try to, get in and still get that nerdy fix, get that Hasbro fix in this case, and see what they can do from a virtual standpoint. Everyone at home, it's a completely different landscape. We've seen pretty good success. Gen Con Line, as it should have been called, had a really good turnout. Lots of great content coming out. DC just had theirs, the Fandom, last week or 2 weeks ago now. We talked about it on the punch list. So it's possible, it's doable. People, companies can do that and get a good turnout. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly the same as what you might get as you're strolling around a convention floor. But you do know that what you're getting is at least something. You get fed something that keeps our nerdy passions and aspirations alive. So PulseCon coming at the end of the month here in September. Check out the Hasbro site to get all that information. Again, it's over on their YouTube channel. I don't know if there's really any other channels that they're going to go through, any Discord servers or anything like that. But if they do, I'm sure they will post about it on their website. Number 5 of the punch list. Now we're getting into some video game news. The next couple are going to be video game centric. So The Witcher is getting an AR mobile game in the form of The Witcher Monster Slayer. And it's going to be free to play, launch later this year sometime over on Android, iOS. No Windows phones. I don't even know if Windows phones are a thing anymore. They were so hyped when they came out, and then I never knew anybody that got one, and I haven't seen anybody have one in years. So for all I know, they don't exist anymore. But Android, iOS devices, it's going to be a game that's very similar to Pokemon Go, for those of you that rode that wave. And Pokemon Go still has a very diligent, very excited following. Even though it's been out for a number of years, it's very active. I picked it up last year, maybe for a good number of months, and got back into it. And then I know Harry Potter there's some mobile game that does Harry Potter. It's the same sort of thing where you walk around, you go to the different towers of the castle and whatnot to do your lessons, and there's different spells going on and stuff. So that I've tried that too, so that's fun. So I am probably their target audience for this. Love The Witcher. I've really enjoyed these sorts of games. What they do end up being is sort of a really good time sink, but in the way that it's hey, if I'm going for a walk, I just have this game open and periodically do whatever it is, slay monsters in this case. So it's just sort of something that, hey, I'm going to be doing it anyways, so to supplement my walk with something else a little bit nerdy, that's always up my alley too. So coming later this year, you can check it out, the little bit of information about it. The Witcher Monster Slayer, it's going to be come to a neighborhood near you. Maybe we'll see Henry Cavill. I don't know if it's tied into. I should actually take a look at the article here and see if there's a launch video. I didn't watch the launch video. I should have probably done that. But I don't know if it's going to be I'm assuming it's going to be more like the video game Geralt or Geralt, and probably not the Netflix series. And if he's even in it at all, it's a completely different world. Probably something along the signs, right? So the magic system, there's probably something there. Maybe a little sword play, for all we know. So really cool. The Witcher Monster Slayer. Just add that to the list of mobile AR games, and hopefully it's successful. It'd be really great to see people out playing that. Again, it's really hard to get into multiple of these at the same time. You kind of focus on one. So maybe people, if they're getting a little burnt out or want to try something after Pokemon Go for a couple years, this might be something that people get into. So maybe we'll see another hype wave coming through like we did with Pokemon Go. That's number 5. Number 4 on the punch list. I told you another video game news was coming. Clave, you could stop smiling at me. Number 4, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has been announced. So they released sort of the teaser image for the new installment of the Call of Duty franchise. It's going to be taking everybody back to the 1980s, and events is inspired by the Cold War era. It's going to have basically everything that you've come to expect from Call of Duty. It's going to have campaign, multiplayer modes, zombies mode is coming back, and it's going to have cross-play on current and next-gen consoles. So if you're looking at the PS5 and then the new Xbox, that's all going to be supported. You can play it on both cross-play, and that is coming out November 13th. So you can watch that trailer if you go to the punch list. We got the link there. Check out the trailer for the new Call of Duty. Am I excited for it? I used to really enjoy Call of Duty games, and then I kind of missed a couple in the middle as they went to like hyper futuristic. World at War was a really good. I like that older style. Going back to not futuristic technologies. So this 1980s, I don't know, it's probably more spy themed, a little more espionage focused, which may go back to like Ghosts, which was really good, Black Ops, which was really good. So I don't know, I may dabble in it after I see some reviews, see what the reception is. There's always a community for Call of Duty, and people are gonna buy that and play it. So if that is your jam, November 13th, circle that right there on the old month, the penultimate month of the year, to make sure that you follow all the news on Cold COD, as I marked it on this list. All right, number 3, we are getting down to the end. Horizon Zero Dawn is heading to tabletop. So for those of you familiar, Horizon Zero Dawn came out 3 years ago on PlayStation as a PlayStation exclusive, and it is getting sort of the board game treatment. It's literally called Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game. It's going to be a semi-cooperative deck builder where you choose a tribe and class and work towards becoming a hunter of great renown. And it is going to be from Steam Forged Games, and you can pre-order it today even if you wanted to. It's coming out next month, October 16th. Whenever you have those big IPs that get turned into a board game, you can have it can go in two very drastic directions. You could either have games that are they really just wanted to sell. They're like, the IP is going to sell this, where the game kind of falls flat, or you have a really good game, and maybe the IP was sort of slapped on it, like this will help it sell. Again, the IP is meant to sell the game, help people find that recognition, like, oh, Horizon Zero Dawn, I know what that is, maybe I'll try this game. So that's kind of what people usually do and publishers when they leverage IPs. For example, Marvel Splendor is coming out. It was supposed to come out earlier this year, but it's got delayed and stuff, I believe. So that's coming out at some point. But that's taking Splendor and reskinning it with the Marvel IP. And so there's very little mechanical change to the game from what I've read. And so they've taken a successful game in the form of Splendor, and now they've applied the Marvel IP over the top of it. So that's not the situation we're working with here. Here we are taking a existing IP, building a game around that. How do you capture the essence of Horizon Zero Dawn in a board game? And it has been decided apparently that a semi-cooperative deck builder is the way to do it. So will that pan out? I don't know. I think it kind of makes sense, cards, a lot of times with card games you have, gear and locations. You can express things very well in cards, and making it a co-op thing too can help, like, hey, everybody's kind of working together. Everyone's a part of the same core group with me. So I don't know. I don't know anything else about it, rules-wise, mechanics-wise, just these broad strokes. We'll see if Horizon Zero Dawn makes it as a board game as successfully as they were in the video game realm. So excellent. Also, there's Horizon Zero Dawn sequel coming to next-gen consoles. So that's in the works too. So it's a very successful franchise, and you're probably going to see more things like this in the near future. Number 2 on the punch list, the X-Files. What year is it? Is it 2020 and we're talking about the X-Files? The X-Files is getting the animated comedy treatment. So I think we discussed Star Trek Lower Decks at some point in the punch list. I've definitely talked about it with people. Maybe it was here, maybe it was not. But Star Trek Lower Decks is sort of the comedy like Star Trek IP that they're animating. It's supposed to be kind of like a Family Guy style of comedy and animation to sort of like highlight the characters that aren't that you don't know in Star Trek, all the behind the scenes characters, all the people in the background. So this X-Files is going to be called X-Files Albuquerque, which is always a fun name to say. And it's going to center, I quote here, center on an office full of misfit agents who investigate X-Files cases too wacky, ridiculous, or downright dopey for Mulder and Scully to bother with. They're essentially the X-Files B team. So this is X-Files creator Chris Carter and original writer Gabe Rotter are attached to the project. So, they're going to keep things probably at least very loosely tied to the X-Files universe. It is what it is. I'm probably not going to watch it. I don't really watch that style of show anymore. But it's interesting to kind of see the industry. Obviously Family Guy, when it came on the scene, it was like, whoa, what is this show? It's sort of, parts of it were like, they're pushing the boundaries sort of television comedy in an animated fashion, right? So now you have more of those shows. You have shows like Rick and Morty, and now the new Star Trek show, and now the X-Files show, that are really trying to emulate that and capture that same sort of idea of comedy for the viewers. So like I said, I probably won't watch it, but there's definitely an audience for that cross audience between people who watched X-Files. They're now a little bit older. I don't even know if there's like when X-Files went off the air or really like if there were any like spin-off series since then. I don't know. I just really don't know. So in any case, they're trying to leverage something that is existing that people know, hopefully getting them to tune in, greenlight a second season, et cetera, et cetera. So X-Files Albuquerque is coming, I don't know when, at some point. It's coming in the future. So keep your ears peeled for that. And finally on the punch list, this was the biggest news and the hardest hitting news of the past week. Chadwick Boseman passed. He's probably most well known for his role as Black Panther in the MCU. He was also in 42, and it's really being able to see sort of the reactions on social media. He was battling. He succumbed to colon cancer, and he'd been living with that for years, and a lot of people didn't know or didn't have the insight to that, which really goes to show his poise and his presence both on the screen and off is really something that it's unmatched really, and so it's you can go ahead and you can read. There's a lot of tributes going on. A lot of people remembering Chadwick Boseman, the effects he had on the industry, on their lives. Just really a remarkable human being, and it's really sad to see him go. So not really ending the punch list on a high note, but go ahead and look at some of the things he's done in his life, some of the sort of speeches that he's said, and his impact on the industry and the world. It's not something that will be forgotten. It's very impactful. So go ahead and check out those different tributes to Chadwick Boseman, and maybe watch a movie that has him in it. and fondly remember his impact that he had on a lot of people's lives. All right, the punch list. Just break it down. That's 7 things. We're through it already. So just back again from the top. D&D Celebration Event coming September 18th through the 20th. Mark your calendars. And then block off the next weekend because Hasbro's hosting PulseCon with number 6. Number 5, The Witcher is getting an AR mobile game treatment a la Pokemon Go. And I can't remember the name of the Harry Potter one, but that one too. And there's others, of course. Number 4, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has been announced. That's coming on November 13th. Cross-gen, cross-play. Number 3, Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a board game called Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game, based on, obviously, the 2017 PlayStation exclusive. Number 2, XFiles is receiving the animated comedy treatment in the form of XFiles Albuquerque. So that will be a show that you can check out at some point. And the last thing on the punch list, Chadwick Boseman has passed, and we will fondly remember the impact that he had on our lives and everybody else's lives. Just what he stood for. Really, as I said before, remarkable human being. And that's the punch list. So thanks for joining, nerds. If you like the punch list, again, tune in every Wednesday. We'll break it down for you on Facebook Live. Normally Clave would be here. He's the color commentary for us. So sorry if this was a little bit more informational and dry. I tried to liven it up a little bit. But Wednesday morning, the punch list comes out. You can check out the news from the past week that we have curated for you. And be sure to check out nerdsonearth.com for all the great articles we put out. Again, tons of stuff from Marvel, D&D, Tabletop, Pathfinder, Star Wars. Tons of content. We try to put out an article every day that you can take a look at, read, and enjoy, and hopefully you find something nerdy for you there. Until next week, I think Clave will be with me next week, but we will sign off there. Thank you, nerds, for joining me for the punch list. Later.